Well, Amitabh Kant is of the view that India is on course for a V-shaped recovery and lockdowns will not provide the solution going forward. Speaking to ET Now's Tamanna Inamdar, the NITI Aayog CEO said infra is the key to growth revival and the government is aggressively pushing for asset monetization. Listen in.
The pandemic has hit the global economy in a very big way. The crisis is 50 times bigger than the crisis of the 2008. When the pandemic hit India, we were the first to respond to it because we wanted to protect the lives of our citizens. Nobody knew how the crisis will span out in the days to come. And therefore, we took measures to protect the lives of individuals. And this was critical at that particular point of time. And as you've seen this, we are in unlockdown 4. And over a period of time, we have progressed, graduated, opened up our economy, we've allowed. But the first quarter has been bad for every single economy across the world. We've all been hit, UK has been hit, United States has been hit. But I'm confident that we'll bounce back. We should look forward, not look back. And I look at it with optimism. While the pandemic is still there, we've seen a huge rebound. And I only hope that the states now realize that the lockdown is not the solution. The solution lies in masks, in physical distancing, in contact tracing, but definitely not in lockdowns. And therefore, we need to ensure that economy must continue to grow.
In hindsight,
no, my view is that economy must grow and progress.
So in hindsight, do you think?
No, in hindsight, I think that it's been a learning process for everyone. We've also grown and evolved. And it's important because if states do lockdown, there'll be impact in terms of learning outcomes, in terms of health outcomes, in terms of economy, all that. And therefore, now the learning lesson really is that we need to manage ourselves better, but ensure that the economy continues to grow and progress. States must now partner the center to ensure that Indian economy must be on a V-curve growth.
I just want to talk a bit about these unlock guidelines and the sort of start-stop that we have seen. The latest set of guidelines says that, states cannot impose localized lockdowns unless if they're in containment zones without sort of a check from the center. How do you think this will pan out, and is this the right way forward, considering a lot of business and industry has complained that random arbitrary lockdowns did not allow them to open fully or close fully?
No, this is the right approach because my belief always has been that we should only do hyper-localized strategies. That is, if there is infection, say, just to give you an example, if there's infection only in the Okhla area, restricted to Okhla area and not all over South Delhi. If you do this all over South Delhi, then you are impacting every single individual, you are impacting vast number of people who, their economic activity, transportation, mobility, businesses, everyone. And therefore, states were becoming trigger happy to do lockouts across the entire cities. What they should follow is a very, very concerted strategy of what has succeeded across the world has been testing, contact tracing, and a hyper-localization strategy. That is the only solution for the COVID-19 pandemic and not lockdowns.
But how concerned are you, Mr. Kant, that even as we have sort of tweaked our strategy, we started with a very severe lockdown at the beginning of this curve. We extended that about 3 or 4 times, and then now we've begun to unlock in a not very even manner, considering the size and nature of our country. But the numbers keep on rising, and that truly is a concern. For example, even though now offices are allowed to open, a lot of companies are not sure if they want employees back in offices. In cities like Mumbai, public transport has not completely opened either. So it's a very uneven unlock. It's neither here nor there, and it's not allowing us to move on. On the other hand, the cases are rising.
No, but Tamanna, if you look at it in terms of the population, I mean, all of you journalists are giving absolute numbers, which is not a correct indicator. The indicator has to be per million, so your total number of cases per million are still low. Your total case fatality rate per million is still low. Your number of deaths per million is much, much lower than other countries. It's just about 42 per million as compared to about 111 per million in other parts of the world. So, if you do a comparative analysis with European and American and America, we are still very, very low per million. And I don't think it's a correct indication to go by the total number.
No, fair enough. But even if you see the number of new cases per day, let's not look at the total number. Let's look at active cases. Yeah. Fine. Let's look at new cases per day or even fatality rates. We are moving upwards, and that really is the concern. In various states where I'm speaking with you, in Mumbai and Maharashtra also, we're moving upwards. But you're close to 80,000 cases, new cases per day. After everything that has been tried so far, the concern is it really working, and will we now have to wait for a vaccine to have some sort of a sign that we can move on to the next phase?
Yeah, but the answer, firstly, it's very important for individuals to be responsible. If I don't wear a mask, if I don't do a physical distancing, I'm going to get into a problem. And therefore, it's very important for the country to realize that individuals and society must be responsible. Don't put the onus on the government. Number one. Number two, secondly, lockdown is not the solution. Thirdly, economic activity should not be impacted. If you continue to impact with lockdowns economic activity, you will have many more people below the poverty line, and you will hit a huge amount of impacts on both education and health, which will be very detrimental in the long run for people below the poverty line. And therefore, we must ensure that economic activity continues to happen. Our trains must run, our ports must run, our exports must take place, our manufacturing must function. I mean, that is a key message which channels like yours must put out.